At our team meeting yesterday, and we were talking about open houses. I've already said in the past that I don't believe open houses are an effective way to sell a specific property. It very much becomes a place where a realtor can meet a buyer, and that buyer, after they've disqualified that house, they look for something else. It's an opportunity for two people to connect, basically. But if you are a seller and you're hopeful that your open house is going to, bring about a buyer, is it impossible? No. Is it likely? No. So here's the two times where open houses are effective. Number one, when a listing is fresh, when it's just hit the market. And even then, it has to be priced right, because buyers are so in tune with the market today that even when they see a brand new listing, the novelty of that brand new listing, and they see an open house, they are very quick to assess whether something is overpriced, whether something is underpriced, and that's going to determine the traffic and the volume that comes to the open house. So at the beginning, that is usually when a property gets the most attention. If you're priced right, if you show well, and if there's an open house, you're going to get traffic. You're going to get your buyer, unlikely, but you're going to get traffic if that's what you're looking for. Number two is if you have, for example, a significant price drop. Like if you go from 800,000 to 750,000, you are going to get, some more traffic coming through the property. It won't be as busy as opening day, like the day that you hit the market, but it'll be busy. It'll be pretty good, so long as you're still, that price reduction has put you in alignment or maybe even below market value. That will definitely spur some interest. But if you're listed at $799 and you bring it down to $789 or $779, it's not gonna make any difference. It's a waste of time. But here's where open houses have an impact or an influence on the market. So what ends up happening is, we all know the whole nosy neighbor thing about going through open houses, and eventually that nosy neighbor ends up doing something. Not with that house, but they end up buying a house in the future. But here's something to keep in mind. When someone comes through an open house, they may not have any intention to buy that house, but what happens is they have now walked into a house that is staged, that it shows really well, that it's decluttered, depersonalized. They're looking at a home in its absolute best version of itself. And so when they leave the house, they're not disappointed because they weren't there to buy the house. They were there just to look. But what ends up happening is they go back to their house. And as soon as they open their front door, boom, they hit a bunch of shoes. There's coats all over the place. The keys are all over the place. The dishes are in the sink. The TV was left on. The windows need cleaned or whatever. What ends up happening is they become very dissatisfied with their existing place because they just came from something that was just completely done up, spruced up. And even though they weren't going to buy it, they just left with this impression of, wow, this is actually a nice place. And then they go back to their home, which is just everyday living. Look, I'm not judging anybody. That's just everyday living. These things happen, especially when you got kids. You got Lego everywhere. You're stepping on things. These things happen. But it ends up that person now starts to think, oh, they start to look at it negatively. My house is too small. I need more space. Kids' toys are everywhere. I would love for them to have their own area. And before you know it, they're on realtor.ca at nighttime looking for properties online. So that's kind of the influence that open houses can have on the general public. It makes them basically not buy that house, but it makes them go onto realtor.ca and just kind of get the journey started. It's a process. For some people, that process can be a few months. For other people, it can be a few years before they end up securing a house. Yeah. But that's just my thoughts on open houses and how they can influence the overall public, and when I think it's effective, when I think it's not effective. Do we do them? Yeah, we do them. We do it on a small percentage of our listings. A lot of the times it's to appease the client, not necessarily because we feel it's effective. Anyway, that's some true thoughts. Just wanted to share that with you. We talked about it at the team meeting yesterday. Thought it might be helpful. See you guys.